Okay.
Dr. Samba.
Yes, please.
This is Dr. Tembo here. Can I suggest we hold on for another 10 to 5 minutes?
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Thank you. So let's just hold on for the next 5 to 10 minutes then.
This meeting is being recorded.
All right. Welcome once again, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you all with us. And as you can see on your screen, this is Solavise Tech AWS DevOps Summit. I'm going to plead that we try to control our mics. We equally have co-hosts who will be helping out with that. On behalf of Solavise Technologies Institute, I want to welcome everyone to this session. And as you can see, we are blessed to have amazing experts here today share their experiences with us on the following areas, right? On how you can achieve career goals and work-life balance as a cloud engineer, as well as how you can adapt to the changes in technology in this digital age. Looking specifically at cloud computing, what it's all about. You know, we sent out a copy message where we were trying to find out the reasons for which many of us will be looking at attending this particular event. And a good number of persons seem to have little or no idea about cloud computing, right? And I want to say that the only reason why I'm able to sit here and share this event as a CEO and founder of Solavise Technologies Institute is not because I'm too special, but it's just because I was able to get this information before you. You here is addressing, especially you who is getting this for the very first time. And just with an open mind, I was open enough to get the information right, do my own research, and I made a decision. And so if you on the other end got this information before me, you would be that person sitting right here to chair such an event, right? So that's why I'm saying that we are here not only to learn, but we're also here to connect, all right? And let's see how the future will. So here we are blessed to have the president of Desmond International University, right? The president of Professor Atanga Desmond, who is going to be drilling us on how you can adapt to the technological changes in this digital age, right? And on the other end, we have Engineer Tamkon Clovis, all the way from United States of America, the CEO of Tech Global. He is going to be giving us information of what cloud computing is all about. Over 70% of invitees told us that they had no idea of what cloud computing is all about. So he is going to tell us, right, and not from theory. He is an expert on the field, and he is going to equally give us a journey of what the day-to-day activities of a cloud engineer looks like. All right. So you have a clear picture of this particular field because it's an emerging technology, and it's good to move with the changes in time, right? So now, this is the agenda we're going to follow. All right. So I'm actually doing a welcome message right now. We're going to move over to get information around how you can adapt to the technological changes, right? And as well, Engineer Clovis is going to come in. Then remember the message we send out, right? We said we have an amazing bonus for you. So I want to encourage you to stay put, right? Do not be distracted. Stay put right to the end, all right? You don't want to miss this amazing bonus which we're going to be dishing out at the end of this particular session, all right? And thereafter, we're going to have a feedback, right, and question and answer session. Okay, so if you have any questions, we want to encourage you to write down those questions, right? And you would raise your hand, and we're going to take those questions at the end, so you don't unmute and interrupt the training as we go on. But we also have other experts on the team where you can drop your questions in the chat, all right, as we unfold with the training. So you can always get responses, okay? So if that's okay, please can you drop a yes in the chat? Can you drop a yes in the chat? If it's okay, if we all agree with this plan, just drop a yes in the chat, please. Thank you. Drop a yes in the chat. Great. All right. So now, let me just give us a brief about myself, right? Some people will see, hey, Dr. Samba. Some other people see, hey, Engineer Samba. So why these different appellations, right? Or why these different hats? My background is of the medical field, right? So I was trained as a medical doctor. And this is just to break that barrier in the mindset of many of us who may say, okay, I don't have any background in engineering. I don't have any background in IT, but is it possible for me to be able to survive and succeed in IT? All right. I want to tell you, I had zero IT background. And so I was trained to become a medical doctor and I graduated, all right, doing very well as a medical doctor. But then I was very, very hungry for more. And you know, life in school and life after school are two different things, right? So while in school, I had this urge, I had this dream to be able to help people, all right? But when I got out of school, I was unable at some point even to help myself, but I wanted to help people, all right? So I hope you understand the challenges right after school. So I began to think of how I'm able to help people. And also, during the period of COVID-19 where, you know, with the lockdown and all of that, people were home, you know, a lot of people lost their jobs. And now there was an emergence of remote work, okay? So I began to ask myself, how can I offer my health or medical services to people, right, remotely? And so I began to expose myself, you know, to trainings, and along the line, I was exposed to information around cloud computing, right? So with all the pressure out there, you know, about life, family, and all of that, so I needed an opportunity where I could equally have work-life balance. And so I was exposed to this opportunity and I got the information and I was open enough to evolve. So why is it important to evolve? When you look right now, for example, you can see here Netflix, you can see LinkedIn, you can see WhatsApp, right? Most of us got invitation for this session on WhatsApp. But do you know that this is how WhatsApp actually began? WhatsApp began just as a fixed phone, right? Do you know that Facebook, most of us got information about this event on Facebook, right? From the copy we actually made on Facebook, right? But do you know that Facebook actually started just like an album, right? Do you know that LinkedIn equally just started as a newspaper? Do you know that Netflix actually started here as hard disk? But today, Netflix is actually hosted on a cloud provider, which is Amazon, right? And you're going to understand, you know, what it's all about. So times are changing and things are evolving. Today, we all are able to connect, you know, around the world on a smartphone, right? Majority of us probably are connected on this call using our smartphones. But do you look at the evolution of the smartphone over time, right? The smartphones we have today, the way we're able to communicate today, is not the same like before, right? Things have changed over time. And so can you equally see here, cloud, iCloud? You know, what's iCloud? You know, we're able to now store data, we're able to store things, right, in the cloud. But do you know that this is how it all started? Everything was on a hard disk. Now, some of us equally joined this call, right, through an email that was sent. But do you all know that Gmail actually started like this? It was a physical means of, you know, sending messages, right? You had to go from one person to another physically. But now things have changed. So, ladies and gentlemen, how open are you to these technological changes? Do you want to know how you can be able to evolve? This is the reason for which we have an expert, you know, in IT, we have an expert, Professor Tanga, who is going to be taking us through this session on how you can adapt to the technological changes, how you can have an open mind to the technological changes. And ladies and gentlemen, if we are ready for Professor Tanga, I would want us to drop, you know, any symbol in chat, you know, any emoji in the chat to show our excitement, right? Prof, if you can hear me, sir, and just to let us know that Solavise Technologies Institute is in partnership with Kesmont International University, all right? It's in partnership with Kesmont International University. Prof, if you can hear me, sir, the mic is yours.
All right, all protocols duly observed. Can you hear me?
5 on 5, sir.
All right, it's a very big pleasure for me to be part of this great team today. Thank you very much, Solavise team, for choosing me among the so many experts that we have across the continent. I feel so honored to be part of this great team, this great initiative that is going to be a problem-solving situation in this, our global continent. My name is Atanga Desmond Funywe. I am the president of Kesmont International University, or Kesmont's group of companies, which we are located in over 12 countries. We're into higher education. We have a series of universities, Kesmont's been the most accredited digital university you'll find in the continent of Africa. We are into IT services, we are into hospitality, healthcare, and a couple of other things. So I would like to thank Dr. Samba and the team of Solavise Tech. You know, technology and innovation is what we dream for the change of time. There is an old adage that says that the idols of the 21st centuries are the discoveries of the 20th century. So the science of today and the research works being done today will be celebrated in the years to come. So this evening, we will be discussing on adapting to changes in technology in this digital age. And we are going to use the case of cloud computing. But before we dive straight into our discussion, because it's more of a talk than a lecture, this is a conversation, a tete-a-tete that we need to have to look at how do we solve the problems that are in our society today using the technology that we have. So we are going to strike key 3 items, which is technological changes, digital age, and cloud computing. So when we look at these 3 key terms that are invited into our conversation, we're going to look first at technological changes. Now, when we look at technological changes, it is important for us to look at technology as the application of knowledge in achieving practical goals in a very reproducible way. What do I mean here? When we talk about technology, you apply the knowledge you have, the skills, the know-how to produce a service in a way that someone can reproduce it. So when you apply that knowledge to achieve something practical that can be reproduced, or maybe when we want to look at the changes that we have witnessed in technology, we will look at the idea of improving existing technologies, developing new ones, improving the old technological ideas, improving on products that are already existing, creating new products in the market. This whole process helps us to create a new market structure. But how does this change occur? It occurs through what we say, a technological change. All the improvement, the change, and the whole process comes as a result. It could be as a result of an invention or an innovation. And there is no technological change if we don't talk invention, if we don't talk innovation. When we talk about invention versus innovation, we need to understand that invention is attained through scientific processes. Before we invent something, it's a series of scientific processes. Whereas when we talk about innovation, innovation is about modifying an existing invention. We modify. We had iPhone X, now we have moved to iPhone 14 Pro Max. So that is an innovation. But when the very first iPhone was created, that was an invention. Now, are we together? Is everyone following? Is the moderator there? Can you hear me very well? All right. So anything that creates an entire new existence, that process of creating an entire new existence or improving on a creation, that's innovation, and creating new, that's invention. But when we come to the process of improving, we are going towards innovation, which are processes involved in technological changes. Now, when we look at technological changes, we discuss a series of things. I've talked about invention, I've talked about innovation, but we should not forget imitation and learning. Most of us here, we are imitating things that were created before. I'm into digital learning, the digital system we use. I'm imitating a system that was created. I did not invent them. You understand? So technological changes is all about some people invent, some of us we innovate, some of us also imitate, and some of us come to learn the things that were invented or the things that have been innovated in order to be able to solve societal problems. Now, if we look at a distinction drawn between what we call codified and tactic knowledge, when we look at the process of technological change, we have codified knowledge, we have tactic knowledge. When I'm talking about codified knowledge, I'm talking about documented knowledge. Knowledge could be documented digitally. Information could be documented digitally in clouds, in other forms, in other servers and other like. But when it's tactic or it's a tacit knowledge, we look about our instincts, our intuition, those ideas that come to your mind. And all these concepts were you could adopt them from, or you could look if you have been able to come across the environmental and innovation societal transition. It's a document that talks about innovation and societal transition and how innovation comes with our instincts, our knowledge, and the experience that we witness in our day-to-day life. For example, for those who live in the United States, there is a lot of gun violence. And this has got us thinking that what if guns sold to individuals had what we call biometric data linked to the various guns in a way that in case there is gun violence or shooting in a primary school, it is easy for those managing the database to switch off the gun from the biometric information. All those are technological informations that we think from our instincts. And in the essence, technological change covers the invention technologies, which is a series of processes, and these processes have to be commercialized. Because if you invent and you cannot commercialize your invention, then your invention is questionable. And the continental improvement of technologies, which has become less expensive, you know, the more innovation comes, there are some technological innovations and advancements that are only accessible to certain class of people because of financial resources. Some technological advancements have been made accessible to even people living in the less developed countries, like my country where I come from, Cameroon. So in short, technological change is based on both better and more technology. So the original model of a three-phase technological change will always include the invention, the innovation, and the diffusion. When I talk of the invention, which I explained earlier, that's creating something new with a breakthrough, innovation, which I talk about modifying things. And when we look at innovation in a more advanced society, we look at even standardization. When things are innovated, we need ISO standardization for them to be accepted and distributed within the global environment. Now, when we talk about the diffusion of technological change, diffusion of innovation in theory that seeks to explain why and what rate this new idea of technology has spread. It is new. How does it spread? We need to understand the spread. We need to look at the economics of it. We need to look at the societal acceptance of it. We need to look at the theory of popularization of the new invention. All these are found in research, in the research works of Robert Everett, which is a document published a very long time ago, about in the 1960s. So if you look at how innovation was done, we had to look at how it would diffuse the society, which are all forms of technological changes. And when these technological changes comes, we look at trends in communication channels. There is an innovative idea. There is a problem-solving drug. We have developed vaccines for HIV. How do we communicate this? How will the global environment accept it? Facebook created a platform for people to socialize and interact. How do policymakers embrace this idea? How does the social system provide a medium through which boundaries can be attended, through which social norms, opinion leaders, change agents, government, policy makers will be able to accept this technological change that has come with the innovation. We look at the aspect of time. How does this suit with the change of time that has come? So all these are some of the aspects involved in technological change. So the digital age, which is the age where you and I we are today, which in other words, they call it the computer age. You know, the digital age began in the mid revolution, which is all history that we know. But it is also important for us to understand that this digital area refers to a time period where personal computers are very available at age. And we look at digital age, and in its real sense, when you hear the word digital age, what do you think about? I say hello to, now I'm speaking to you guys, everyone is in their comfort zone because of a digital age. And if it was in the past, probably might get the message very terrible about you participate. So with the digital age, things have been made accessible to us. And in this 21st century, characterized by a rapid shift from traditional industries to the Industrial Revolution brought through industrialization and an economy that is based on technological reforms. And when we look at this economy based on technological reforms, we ask ourselves this question: why digitalization? Why digitalization? And when you ask these questions, you begin to think. Digitalization, the procedure of moving business into a digital age, embracing technologies, accepting relevant ideas that improve organizations, that improve societies, that improve the well-being of people. And if we look at the advancement of 5G technology, if some African countries have not had access to 5G technologies, some have access. If you have been to Johannesburg, they have accessibility to 5G. In my country, in Cameroon, no, in Europe, there is 5G everywhere. In China, there is 5G. In the Americas, they have. But we're looking forward that such technological advancement will reach us and providing more reliability to speed of downloads. With the availability of 5G, downloads are faster, uploads are faster, communicating with cloud and digital systems are faster. And you look at digital distributors such as Uber, Airbnb, Peloton, Netflix as an example, which Dr. Samba used earlier, and shaping traditional industries into digital topics affecting our lives today. And it appears even that in our day-to-day life, very soon, a lot of things will be digitalized. Our watches are already, our homemade fridges, toothbrushes, a lot of things will be digitalized in a way that when you use your toothbrush to brush your teeth, it collects digital data of the level of germ found in your mouth. It provides a quick analysis of whatever is going in your buccal cavity and sends the report to your computer, and you're able to see what's happening in your system. So this is the advancement, the digitalization, the movement that we dream of. But the digital age does not affect you at home. The digital age only encompasses the digitalization of business, sometimes referred to as, and digital age can also lead to development, and the digital age also has its own consequences to the social growth of our children. You know, when it comes to social discipline, back in the days, we were not very informed with a lot of things, but children these days, they watch information, they know a lot of things on their rights and all those things, which is as a result of digitalization. And we begin to question ourselves, how does the digital age affect today's society? we're looking from the trend of the changes in technology, moving into the digital age, and asking ourselves, how does it affect the society today? You and I will look at the growth in internet network. You know, as we speak, there are over 4.5 billion people that use the internet. That's about 60% of the whole world's population. You look at what the digital age has done, looking into the advancement in the digital age with the changes in technology. Look at the government, politics, and individuals. Look at the growth that individuals have, the power they have gained. In the past, countries relied on the wealthiest people that you would find from the 60s to the 80s were people who deal in pharmaceutical, oil and gas, mining, and probably fashion. But these days, with the advancement in technology, we find the top giants in the world, like the guys of Amazon, the guys of Facebook, the guys of Twitter, the Jeff Bezos, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Elon Musks. These are the guys that have gained the fame, the power because of digitalization that made them to have access to control millions of people through platforms and systems that they created, which came as a result of change, advancement, innovation in technology. But let's look at what digitalization has also done in the concept of terrorism, in the concept of propaganda, and the concept of extremism. If you look at today's terrorists, they have a way of communicating, sharing data digitally. You can find an attack will take place in Nairobi, orchestrated by guys found in Iraq, Iran. You can find an attack in Johannesburg, orchestrated by guys found in the United States because of digitalization of data, and they have a way of coding their data and keeping them in systems that cannot be accessed by anyone. Because these systems have what we call policies, which when you subscribe to them, most of them, you have to respect those policies when you are a service provider. And look at the power of the changes in technology, the advancement and digitalization. Can you imagine that a very powerful person in any country can sit within 30 minutes and create chaos through social media propaganda, create a political instability in a country through social media platforms? That's why in some countries, social media at some point was blocked, like Uganda. During the past elections they had, you couldn't access Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Social media platforms were blocked because people out there were creating propaganda and causing a lot of chaos within the country, sending you to the streets and all the like. So you see the power of digitalization, how it can be used. As I speak to you, we could use digital power within 2 minutes. When the president of the republic sends a message, the whole system is being closed. And when we look at digital defense systems, if we just survived the coronavirus, if we're speaking, it means we survived. So coronavirus forced a global confinement and made the internet, including the digital networks of our day-to-day life, it became a survival tool. Everything was digitalized. Dr. Sam has told us he had to think out of the box. And these are the concepts, the changes that have come with advancement in technology in this our digital age. Now we look at government transparency policies. If you are versed with Edward Snowden and Julian Assange, I think those in the United States who have lived there or those who are exposed to global politics will understand. Julian Assange is the founder of WikiLeaks. He leaked sensitive confidential documents of government military information. He leaked most of the information, documents that talked about the United States misconducts, war crimes done by the US military in Afghanistan, in Iraq, such as killing, tortures, abuses, and all the like in Yemen and all those things. So if you've read about Julian Assange, you realize he even had to seek asylum in the embassy of Ecuador in London, which he stayed there for close to 7 years before he was recently arrested, I think last year or so. And if you've also heard about Edward Snowden, there is even a movie on Snowden where Snowden was a CIA administrator, and when he realized that the United States was spying on its citizens, was using digital technology to do surveillance, and Snowden wasn't happy about it. He had to leak it out, and he had to fled to seek asylum in Russia. So these are some of the consequences in digitalization, the changes we find. Now let us look at today's topic of discussion, the principal area, cloud computing. What it is all about. I think the engineering experts will shed more light to what I'm going to share. But cloud computing refers to, we know, is a host of servers, such as data storage, servers for database, networking, softwares, and all like. And the data stored on a physical server, which are maintained by cloud servers. So in the past, our data used to be stored in physical servers. It still happens nowadays. Some companies still store their data in physical server. They store their data in when we talk about a server are just computers that run services to serve the needs of other computers. So that's a server. It runs a service to other computers. For example, a home server, we can have web servers, we can have print servers. So cloud computing came to resolve the problems of having these physical servers to create digital server, and data was stored in digital systems. And computer system resources, especially data storage, computer power, and made the availability of cloud services more accessible to people at different areas. For example, I would give you a clear example of myself. Within a month, probably I could find myself working between 3 to 4 countries because of the expansion of our university. So I access the system anywhere I go, whatever I need, because we use cloud servers to store our data in a way that if I have to do any work, I need to check any information on anyone, I just access the system from wherever I am. All I need is to have internet. And since 2021, almost every small application that we use relies on the cloud. And the cloud spaces have greatly served a lot of people, industries, and all like. And instead of storing your files in devices and carrying hard drive, hard disks, things up and down, make it possible to make it difficult for you, or you can even misplace your hard drive. We've had people lost their hard drives with ton of information. We have had people whose computers were stolen. We have had people who lost their stuff in disaster. But with the presence and availability of cloud services, it's now become very easy for us to use them and save our information, making it possible to access the file from anywhere, as long as you have access to the web and internet. And the service hosted on the cloud can be broadly divided into different infrastructure. So we talk about the IaaS platforms, which is infrastructure as a server, platform as a service. We talk about software as a service. We talk about, we look at models based on development models, and we look at based on deployment, and cloud can also be classified public or private or hybrid. So these are the various types, which I think the engineers will get into the detail of it with the architecture of a cloud server that has servers, virtual desktops. It has software platforms. Then we have the domestic users, which are people who have subscribed to that service. And there are several types of cloud computing, which I have already iterated, some such as the infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. You see, use the cloud model based on the service that you want. You want a private cloud, you want a public cloud, you want a hybrid cloud, or do you want to use a infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or the various types that we have. And for those who are not very versed with the domain of cloud computing, or those who are joining for the first time, or hearing about cloud computing for the private cloud, which is a private cloud that computer services are offered to private IT networks for dedicated over the internet. Unlike private cloud, the service purchases them. And hybrid cloud uses a combination of public and private. So that is it. And we look at infrastructure as a service. It's a type of cloud that is computing in which a service provider is responsible for providing service. You look at the service provider who provides you the cloud service, provides you service, provides you storage, provides you networking and a visual interface. We will look at the platform as a server cloud. In this type of cloud computing that provides development and deployment environment in cloud and allows users to develop and run their applications without complexity of building or maintaining infrastructure. So that's, and then when you look at software as a service, which is another type, and in software as a service, this type of cloud allows you to access vendors' software on cloud based on your subscription basis. So these are the various types. And now we look at how we're going to adapt technological changes. We go back to the principal subject, which we talked about, adapting to changes in technology in the digital age. And we've used the case of cloud computing as an example. Now, let's look at these benefits of this so that we can see how to adapt. Cloud computing, how does it benefit businesses or individual or enterprises or governments or whatsoever? First, it helps to reduce cost of maintenance. Imagine you have to hire an IT guy. Each time there's something in your office, you need to call IT guys to come, to come and check your systems and all the like. So there's reduced in cost when you are working with the cloud systems. And there's what we call scalability, allows organizations to grow their users. If you have a cloud platform, you can grow a massive base of users. And there's flexibility and there's collaboration. It's flexible to use. And there's business continuity. It's accessible to you anywhere. And the competitive edge of it. The cloud takes care of various business aspects, such as maintaining the IT infrastructure, licensing your software, training your personnel to manage your data. So it's the advantages are enormous, but we also look at the challenges when we come to this digital age. One of the challenges, which is a basic challenge that is never really looked at, is about having someone to understand how to use it. Although the cloud servers provide the service provider provide a service, but we need a physical person in your enterprise to be able to be a liaison between that and the system. So sometimes there's downtime, we have internet connections, especially the users within third world countries that are still working on 3 or 4G. Sometimes the systems are slow, you can't access your information because of poor network. And then imagine you have your information on the cloud and then you're using a public Wi-Fi. So your files can be accessed by anyone. We have top tier hackers that can just be able to get access to your information if you're using the public Wi-Fi. And the financial commitment, cloud providers use a pay-as-you-go pricing model. That's how it is, pay as you go. However, the business needs to have a good budget plan, probably maybe monthly, subscription, annual, or even if you want to do a 5 or 10 years. And there's a lot of security issues involved in cloud computing. The service providers, they sometimes tell you that it's reliable, we have security certification, but it's not 100% reliable because with the advancement in technology, we are having hackers that can access any kind of system. And we have what we call limited access. Accessing some cloud servers are limited and the control levels are limited to service providers. And each service provider has its own policies that it has put. Maybe a crucial task such as firmware management may not pass you to all other users. So these are some of the constraints of cloud computing. But how do we adapt to these technological changes in modern days? If we look at the advancement in the digital age, it has helped us solve a lot of problems, like managing our company systems. When I talk about managing our company systems, let's start from our offices. In the past, most people were paid manually. They have to type a receipt. You go to the cashier types a receipt and then gives you this receipt. and all that procedure. But digitalization came and other issues. We have automated systems. We've had the use of an automated teller machine. Imagine being able to queue at a bank for 4 hours just to collect $100, which you could do a mobile transfer from your bank account to your phone at the convenience of your home. Imagine you are in the middle of, you're a medical doctor, you're in the middle of an operation, and then you have a phone call that you need to take care of your mom's emergency back in the village, and there is no access to liquidity, meaning you have to leave the theater or call someone to go and transfer money, all that process. Whereas with advancement in technology, you could adapt, link your bank account to your mobile phone, you do a quick transfer, you solve a problem. So adapting is the question that we have to look at. We as the new generation, we must be able to adapt in the changes of technology, no matter how difficult they are, no matter how cumbersome or expensive. We can start with, like I was talking to people about the use of AI tools to solve basic problems. We have AI tools that you subscribe, you have to pay up to even 10,000 US dollars per month. We have AI tools that are free. So you start by adapting to learning these new tools that are free. And you look at advancement in technology, adapting will help us solve complex problems. Solving complex problems, solving problems based on skill-based. It helps us to rejuvenate our critical thinking ability, asking ourselves the question of why, how. It helps us to also be creative and innovative. Because if you realize in our homes when the digital mobile telephones came, if you realize most of the kids in the house know how to use it better than their parents, that is because of the adaptability that they adopted. And we should have what we call a collaborative spirit when it comes to adapting to digital technology. When you're working with a team, and in every team, there are different members, and each member has an essential role. And the human interaction at the workplace is becoming more and more important as computers are soon taking over a lot of our jobs. Yeah, computers have really taken a lot of our jobs. So having collaboration between us in order to understand this system will help us to adapt in the changes. And we need to have in every team, if you're a team leader, or you're a business enterprise owner, there should be what we call a good enterprise leadership plan. Regardless of how much an organization that you are, regardless of how big you have become, how automated you are, your employees will always be very important people for you to keep at heart. And being able to develop that strong leadership skill, that strong relationship between your employees and yourself as an employer, and to create that employee or in-staff relationship between employees so that the organization can be able to accept and adapt to these changes. You see, in some enterprises, we have what we call a highly structured division of labor, in which for us, like the industrialization process, for us to move to step 2, to move to step 3, we must pass through step 2. So if you can't skip step 2 to go to step 3, that's what we talk about, the collaboration. And we should be service-oriented. You know, digitalization, technological advancement, increasing in competitiveness means that customers will be very picky. You get it? You see that your customers will be very picky. So customers can choose who to do business with, and they can change the decision as they like, when they want, how they want. It's no longer difficult, because if your customer used to buy online from you and the similar product is advertised at the same price, the customer can decide even to go to another person just to see, let me test this. So when you are quality service oriented, using digital technological tools, you would be able to maintain your clientele. And as a result, we look at also the possibility for us to have what we call a better online visibility. We should have what we call simpler bookkeeping techniques. You should have what we call a managing to-do list. And we should have an on-the-job training. To adapt in technology is easy. First, we need to reskill. You need to reskill yourself. If your system is evolving and new ideas are coming, you have to reskill yourself. You need to have more workshops within the system to improve on those skills. You need to seek the service of experts. You seek the service of experts to have a conversation with them. I should appreciate Dr. Samba because he's one person that does not delay to seek the service of an expert. He could put in his best and do whatever he can just to get that expertise advice, which is what we need to upskill as business owners or enterprise owners, or if you're working in an enterprise, upskilling yourself, and you need to do on-the-job training. Speak to the people that have better skills than yourself, and you need to have an action plan on system. Go online, read on every innovative idea or tool or software that has come. There are Google videos you can watch to see how they are being used. There are testimonials you could read to see the constraints that people have using them. And all these methods of adaptability will help us to develop a more effective digital age system, and it will ease us using our cloud computing ideas and accessing these cloud computing technologies to the world today. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you so much. We can't thank you enough. We can't thank you enough, Prof. That was so rich. If we did get enough value out of Prof's presentation, please, can we appreciate Prof in the comment section, please? Can we appreciate Prof in the comment section? That is a wealth of knowledge that has been downloaded to us, right? Thank you, Prof. Thank you so much. So straight away, we've understood the journey, right, of how we can adapt to technological changes. The question now is, what is the place of cloud computing and DevOps? What is this cloud computing in depth all about? And how is the day-to-day activities of a cloud expert and DevOps engineer, right? And how can you adapt to that to have a good work-life balance? So right now, we're going to bring in someone who's an expert of the field, right? And this is no other than Engineer Clovis, all the way from USA. Please, if you can hear me, sir, you have the mic. You can, your co-host, so you can kindly share your screen.
Oh, sure.
Thank you very much. Yes, please.
All right, thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. I'd like to start by saying it's really an opportunity and an honor to be present for this summit. And I want to thank the organizers for giving this opportunity for us to share our knowledge with our brothers and sisters back home in Africa and all over the world, because this is a wonderful place where we can all learn from each other, so we can all, understand what is out there and take maximum use of it. My name is Clovis Tamahong, currently the CEO of Tech Global Inc., which is a technical consulting company based in the United States of America. We work hand in hand with the government to see how we can innovate and build top-notch applications that can be utilized within the industry, within the government space. Pretty much, we also provide training services for back home and also in the United States of America. And definitely, I'm here to throw more light on what is cloud computing and what are the day-to-day activities of a cloud/DevOps engineers when it comes to the professional space. So let's deep dive. Let's start with what is cloud computing. I know a lot of us, when we hear cloud, we think that is something in the space. Now, the term cloud simply refers to the internet. Cloud computing is a technology model where we deliver variety of computing services, such as compute, databases, networking over the internet. Why was this a big thing? Because previously, a lot of companies were looking at, growing and increasing their businesses, and this discovered that where they were growing, they were spending more time in developing IT services rather than developing their business. And that was a pain point for them. So a lot of people started looking at how they could make the business to concentrate on doing the business and then provide some services in a way that the business can utilize those services so that they can actually grow their business. And that's when cloud was born. And the concept of cloud is, if you guys know what a data center is, it's not the absence of a data center, but it is the absence of a company managing its data center. I don't know if you guys understand. And let me break it down. So before cloud computing was born, if you had to use IT services to build a business, you had to build your own data center. And the data center is simply a big building where you have a bunch of enterprise level computers that you have to install some software, make sure those computers can communicate with each other, right? And definitely an enterprise level computer, you spend a lot of money. Maintaining that building, you spend a lot of money. So a lot of companies were spending time doing that as opposed to running the business. So how was cloud born? We've been using cloud for a long time. We're just not aware that we've been using cloud. A typical example of a cloud service that everyone is currently using is simply like our mobile services that we all use. Like the mobile services that we all use, we do not, when you log into your phone and you're trying to connect to a network and all of that, that's a service that is provided to you over the network. You pay for just what you use. As the same thing in the real industry. And cloud computing provides users the ability to utilize various kinds of cloud services, and they only pay on demand or whatever service model that they have purchased. And what is a service? A service simply means, in cloud computing, a service simply means an IT resource that you're using and you are renting that service. You don't own the service, you're renting it. So you pay for it, just like you pay your phone bills or you pay your airtime, as we call it back home in Africa, right? Pretty much that's what cloud computing is. So I'm going to go over it again. It's simply a cloud computing is a cloud, is simply a computing model which involves delivering a variety of computer services to your clients. Your clients leverage the services and they only pay for what they use. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, this model offers several key characteristics. And what are these key characteristics? You have on-demand self-service. With the on-demand self-service, when the cloud provider provides you the services, you can go in there and you provision your resources by yourself. So you don't need an expert. You don't need the cloud provider to come in and provide those resources, can provision those resources for yourself. So you can leverage their platform and then build your own infrastructure by yourself. And that's why they're going to require people like the DevOps engineers, the solutions architect to come and build those solutions for them. It also provides a broad network access. Now, what does this mean? Since these services are provided to us over the internet, you can be anywhere all over the world and access those services. And that's why currently you have big companies like Amazon, Azure Cloud, Google Cloud, Alibaba Cloud, and all of that. You can access any of those cloud services from wherever you are and all over the world and still be able to have beautiful infrastructures built on those cloud provider platforms. Resource pooling. Now, the cloud providers, they consolidate their computing resources and serve multiple customers, which enables efficiency or efficient resource allocation. Now, because you rent those resources, you use those resources, it is possible for a cloud provider to use just one computer and serve more than 10 customers. Meanwhile, if you were hosting your own data center, you will have to, if you buy a computer, whether you're using all the resources on the computer or you're not using all the resources on the computer, you're still paying for it. But for the cloud provider, what happens is they maximize the use of these resources by sharing a single resource with a lot of clients in a way that they don't have to, in a way that they can efficiently utilize all of these resources. Then you have rapid elasticity, which is one of the greatest things that we have been facing in the industry when we're still using data centers. We do not have the capacity to scale on demand, which means that whenever your application was running out of resources, the only way that you could scale was to buy these resources and then come and take some like about 3 to 6 months to make these resources available for you to utilize and move forward. But right now with cloud providers, these resources are always available for you and you can scale on demand. Then we have measured service. The beauty about this is that the cloud resources are often measured and the users are billed according to their consumption. You only pay for what you consume. You don't pay for more, you don't pay for less. So there's one thing that we always say, you have an itemized bill. You can actually see the things that you've used and you only pay for those things that you've used. Pretty much this is what a data center looks like. It's a big building that contains a bunch of computers, enterprise computers, and this is what a lot of cloud providers are currently using to provide the cloud services for cloud. This is what the cloud infrastructure looks like. For the cloud infrastructure, you're going to have the cloud provider is going to build a lot of network where it has compute, network, and block storage devices. And then on top of that, you can use things like object storage, identity, runtime, query, and database to then build your applications on top of that, which contains like monitoring, content, collaboration, communication, and finance. One big thing that I'm going to stop here and emphasize on is that, do we even know why we utilize? Do we even know why we use IT services? One of the biggest, not one, the biggest thing that we use IT services is to store data, process data, manipulate data, utilize this data for our own needs, be it business or personal. Why do you need a phone? You need a phone probably to take pictures, store those pictures, and use it for your personal next. And that's the same thing that a lot of businesses are doing. So all IT infrastructure, be it cloud or on-premise or data center, they need these IT resources so that they can store data, manipulate data, process data, and utilize this data to make big business decisions that will drive the company to have profits. Now, having understood what cloud computing is, and that cloud computing is simply providing IT services over the internet to clients, the question now comes, what are the models, or how do you provide the services to them? Cloud computing has 3 main service models. The first one is infrastructure as a service. With infrastructure as a service, the client for the cloud provider maintains absolute control over their infrastructure. And when we talk about infrastructure, it means you can actually go in the platform, the cloud provider's platform, and build your own infrastructure from scratch. When we talk about infrastructure, we're talking about compute, storage, networking, and all of that. You have absolute control of building those infrastructure building blocks from scratch. The other model is platform as a service, where the service provider provides you a platform that includes underlying infrastructure. So it already comes with underlying infrastructure. You do not have to build the underlying infrastructure. You don't have to look for experts to come and manage that underlying infrastructure. You don't have to patch your underlying infrastructure. You don't have to build a network into our underlying infrastructure. The service provider, the cloud service provider, takes care of all of that. Now, the platform as a service is a little bit more expensive. It's infrastructure as a service because the cloud provider takes care of a lot of your platform-related management. Meanwhile, for infrastructure as a service, you take care of your platform-related management. Now, the last one, which is the most expensive, is software as a service. A lot of small companies like to use the software as a service. And an example of a software as a service is if you're using Office 365, that's a software as a service. A software as a service, you already have a finished application and you're just utilizing it to run your business. You don't have to worry about anything in the back end. Patching the servers, what servers are running, the application is running on, you don't have to worry about those. The service provider takes care of everything and you just utilize the application to run your business. To summarize it all, cloud computing has a profound impact on various industries and organizations in the fact that it's made it possible for small businesses to be able to use enterprise-level applications and scale more easily and reduce the need for large upfront investment in IT infrastructures. This has facilitated the growth of a lot of companies that are currently utilizing a lot of intense IT infrastructures to build business models that makes them to succeed and compete in the world right now. It is easy for a company in Africa to utilize the services and compete with a company in America right now. So why are we not using it? I think we're not using it because we're not yet exposed to it. And I believe that's why Solavise is having this summit so we can become more exposed to things like this and start using it so that we can build businesses that can compete with first world countries. Cloud computing definitely helps revolutionize how computing sources are being provisioned, accessed, utilized. And it offers a lot of flexibility when it comes to cost, when it comes to the ability to innovate, and when it comes to the ability to modernize in today's digital age. Now, I haven't understood what cloud computing is. The beauty about cloud computing is that it's opened up a lot of doors to a lot of job opportunities. And wherever you are in the world, if you become an expert in any one of these fields, you can actually get a job, be it in America, be it in Canada, or wherever. You just have to make sure that you're knowledgeable in this field. And any company is going to hire you where you are. One of the jobs in cloud computing that is really paying and lucrative is a cloud architect. And I cannot talk about a cloud architect without talking about DevOps engineer, because right now in the field, if you're a cloud architect, you should be a good DevOps engineer. And if you're a DevOps engineer, you should be able to also understand architecting. So both of these jobs work hand in hand. And sometimes you go to a company, they call you a cloud architect, but technically you're a DevOps engineer. Or you go to a company calling you a DevOps engineer, but technically you're a cloud architect because you're required to do both jobs. But what is a cloud architect or what is a DevOps engineer? Let me break it down. Just think of a construction. If you're trying to construct a house, the first thing that you need is you need an architect to draw your design for that house. Pretty much, a cloud architect is that architect that comes and designs your overall solution for your IT environment in cloud. Now, once the architect draws that, comes up with that solution to build a house, what's the next thing? You're going to get builders to come in and build that house. And when we're talking about builders, we have different kinds of builders. We have the people that are going to plaster the wall, the people that are going to put the roof in and all of that, right? They come from different expertise. Now, a DevOps engineer is someone that contains a variety of skill sets that understands the builders of every environment when it comes to the system level, the networking level, the security level. The DevOps engineer cuts across all of these engineers so that they can automate the build of your environment. One of the key things that is revolutionizing the IT world is automation. And the DevOps engineers start at the peak of that because they're the ones that comes and automate every aspect in your IT environment. Now, let's take a deep dive and look at the day-to-day aspect of a solutions architect life at work or DevOps engineer at work. One of the first things that they need to do is they need to understand the business needs. If you do not understand the business need, how are you going to make an IT infrastructure that's going to benefit the business? If this business is a healthcare business, you have to understand that is you are going to be managing people's PCI or PHI, which are those are personal identifier information, such as your the date of birth and all that. Anybody can use those and hack into your system and probably get more information and steal your bank account and things like that. So if it's a health organization, if it's a health business, if it's a payment card business, you need to understand that security is going to be a big need for that business, and you have to build a solution that is highly secure. So you have to understand the business needs before you can even start building the solution. And that's why you need to meet with the stakeholders, right? Discuss with the stakeholders what are the user requirements that they need, and based on that, you can now build a solid solution for them. Now, the next thing is, once you understand the business needs, you can now design the solution based on all the input that you gain from the stakeholders. Once you design the solution, you have to map the high-level structure of the system. And also, you have to decide the kind of technologies and the platforms and the frameworks that are going to be used to ensure scalability and security, as well as performance of your IT system. You cannot do this without collaborating with other team members. Even though you're a solutions architect, you have to work with the security team. You have to work with the networking team. You have to work with the system admin team. You have to work with all the teams that are involved, even with the functional team, the application team. You have to work with all of those teams so that you can come up with a solution that has a baseline that meets all the requirements from these teams. You have to have a technical expertise that makes you the kind of person that will ask the right questions, that will make the right decisions. You have to be up to date with what are the current technical solutions that are out there. Be up to date with all the IT innovations. You have it's a field that you have to do continuous learning, because what will be a best solution for yesterday will not be the best solution for today. So you have to meet up with the constant changes that are in the IT world. And for that, you have to go to places like seminars like this one, right? And also attend like boot camps and do self-trainings so that you can become a better solutions architect. One of the biggest things is, now I always say this to my team members, that anyone can be technical, but not anyone can have good personal skills. One of the things that will make anybody survive in the field as a solutions architect or whatever engineer is, you have to have good personal skill sets. And one of those is problem solving. With problem solving, you will be facing challenges on a day-to-day basis. And some of these challenges you've never seen before. You have to be that kind of a person that can keep a cool head and figure out solutions interactively, because you have to get with the team members and try to get on a call, get with team members and try to figure out what's the bottlenecks and how to get over those bottlenecks. You also have to make sure that you ensure data integrity across complex architectures at all times. Like I said, data is our core component right here. So you have to make sure that the data that you're dealing with is always secured and has good integrity. You cannot do that. We cannot do this without time trade-offs. And what are trade-offs? Sometimes when you're working with a client, the client has specific requirements, and you have to prioritize these requirements. For example, if you want absolute security, it's going to be more expensive. If you want to save on costs, then probably you've got to do some security trade-offs. So as a solutions architect, the state comes back to understanding business needs. And based on your understanding of the business needs, you can make some trade-offs, because every system cannot have everything. So you have to weigh in which factors are more of a priority to the business, and then make trade-offs on all the other factors that are not really high. But when we're making these trade-offs, you also always have to have a baseline. Because even if security is not a big thing for the company, right? You still have to have a baseline for security. Even scalability is not a big thing, you still have a baseline for scalability. So while you're making these trade-offs, you have to know what is your baseline before you make these trade-offs. You cannot understand the business need without definitely interacting with the client. This is where I'm going to talk on your personal skill sets. You have to have good communication skill sets. You should be able to interact and understand a lot of client-related meetings. You got to attend client-related meetings, understand what these meetings are all about, and then based on your understanding, you come up with conceptual solutions and also design better solutions for IT solutions for your client. These are your known technical skills. And like I said, communication is a big one for this. You should be someone that can express yourself and also listen to people and understand what they're trying to pass through. Our receptors, continuous learning. IT constantly changes. Today, it's cloud computing. Tomorrow, it might be something else. Edge computing is almost taking it over, right? So you have to constantly, artificial intelligence is the base of it, artificial intelligence. So as IT keeps changing, you have to keep learning, right? Previously, Java was the go-to boss for programming. Right now, the other programming languages that have come, that a lot of companies like to use it. So you have to continuously be updating your skill sets to make sure that you can be an asset wherever you are. Just to conclude this, the day-to-day life of a solutions architect is very dynamic. Every day is never the same. Every day you meet a new challenge. You have to think strategically. You have to use your technical skill sets. You have to collaborate with your team members. You have to adapt so that you can bridge the gap between your business and your technical scope. You have to create different kinds of blueprints for your systems that will power modern enterprises. Definitely, as we move forward into the digital era, the role of solutions architect remains indispensable. Why? Because we are the ones that continuously shape the successful future of any business technical debt. Now, I just want to thank everyone that has been here, and definitely if you have any questions that you want to reach out to, I'm more than happy to respond to them. I can take questions, or you can send your questions through the organizers of this event. I just want to thank you so much, and I'm going to hand over back the mic to the organizers.
Thank you so much, Engineer Clovis. We've been blessed by your wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. We are very grateful. Please, if we did get value from this particular presentation, over 80% of those who indicated to take part in this session had little or no idea. I hope right now you have a tip of an iceberg, right, of what cloud computing is all about. So please, if you do appreciate Dr. Engineer Clovis, please, can you just drop a message in the chat, please? Just drop a message in the chat to appreciate what he just did. This is wealth of knowledge for free, ladies and gentlemen, for free, you know. So right away, so a lot of people are definitely asking themselves, how can I become a cloud engineer? How can I become a DevOps engineer? How is that possible, right? So is there a vehicle for us? Is there a vehicle for us, right? So now that's the question. How we want to do this. So now we're going to show you how it's possible to become a cloud expert. And just like we all are connected from the comfort of our homes and we're able to follow through this training, right? This is the typical work environment, right? Most of these jobs are remote jobs. So irrespective of what you're doing, you can have a remote job, right? Because you're not constrained to be in a physical office. All you need is the right expertise, but you can't have that expertise if you're not trained, right? You need to be trained. You need to be open to training. And that comes with an open mindset to learn and to grow. So what do you need? These are the things that you need. So Solavise Tech is offering you a 6 to 7 months intensive hands-on training. A lot of people have theory, right? But when you bring things for them to do practically, they can't do it. So we have customized our training in such a way that we give you the right skill set. Now it's made easy. Why? Because these cloud providers have built the system in such a way that we can leverage on their platforms to train. I went to school for over 22 years to become a medical doctor or thereabout. And at the end of it, right, you need to go into practice. But there are lots of things that, you know, you can't do even after 22 years of education, right? But I'll tell you that we're going to take you through a journey for 6 to 7 months, where at the end of the training, you can do a lot practically, right? Come to think about it, a lot of people, you know, even as university graduates, are still unable to do things with their own hands, with the knowledge acquired, right? So here we are taking you through a practical hands-on training. And the objective of our training is not just so that you get a certificate at the end of the day. Our focus is not to get you to the point of getting certificates. Our point is to help you to be able to build solutions for companies, because that's what matters. But in the course of that, right, we equip you to be able to be certified in these domains of, for this particular course, which is AWS DevOps, right? So, and this course is starting on the 7th of October, right? So right now, all you need is passion, the willingness to learn new things. Can you focus? Can you decide to say, I want to have a new skill. I want to learn a new skill. Are you ready to pay the price? Right. A lot of people, you know, are willing to do it, right? They'll say, I want to do it, but are they really committed to doing it? And I will tell you, some people say, wow, but there are documentation about this. I can go watch YouTube videos. I can go read documentation online. True. over 80 to 90% of those who want to go through a self-study path generally give up along the way. Why? Because they are not in a collaborative environment that can foster their growth. So we are going to put you in an environment where you can collaborate with other people on the team, right? So all you need is a laptop. Do you have a laptop at home? Can you be connected to an internet service provider? All right, so if you can see on the image you have here, this is a typical scenario in Africa. I am doing this training from Cameroon. And so many people will be like, oh, we have internet challenges for sure. But how can you adapt to the changes? How can you adapt to the challenges? Some people are going to use the fact that internet is not stable as an excuse not to grow, while others will look for ways in which they can adapt. So here you see it's a typical scenario, of a cloud expert, say in Africa, who has multiple cloud providers. For example, you can use MTN, you can use Orange. And so our training is customized to take place at night at 12 a.m., which corresponds to 7 p.m. Eastern time. So at 12 a.m., there's less congestion on the internet. So it's more stable. Unlike now, for example, we're having this session, at that time, it's more calm and such that you don't have to quit your job to do this, all right? You don't have to quit your job to do this. But then after doing your job, after you work for your employer, can you come back home and work on yourself? So that extra time that you have at night when you're back from work, you can work on yourself, right? And all you need to do is you don't need a fancy office space. Right in your room, you can learn the skill and grow. So we're going to help you out with the applications that you need to be able to have a great training. And so we have built a website, we have built a learning management system whereby all the courses that you learn are going to be recorded and hosted. So even if you are not available to attend a live class, right, you can still come back and watch the recordings. And you have a team of trainers on the field that are ready to hold your hands. So you are not alone. You guys will be interacting together on the team. And if you have questions, you can always reach out to tutors, right, and they can help you. We're going to give you the right skill set, right, on how you're able to navigate through. So then people are now asking, what does it take? I want to get on this training, right? What does it take to be part of Solavise? What does it take to be part of this AWS DevOps training? Now, let me tell you this. If you want to be trained just as a solutions architect, you can get this training from experts at the cost of $3,000 just to become a solutions architect. Yes, you may ask, why do we have to pay such huge amount of money for a training for 6 to 7 months? Probably if you went to the university in Cameroon like myself, where the school fee is 50,000 francs for 7 years, and all of that, and sometimes at the end of the day, you can't build something, of your own. But these cloud architects are helping companies to save billions. So the amount of money you're paid as salary, it's cloud computing is one of the top paying IT domains. So the cost of the training itself, you need to get the value out of it. But if you want to become a DevOps engineer, you can get this training at the cost of $2,500, all right? A cloud engineer, $3,500. And now if you want to equally get just customized training for certification alone and for job search, job placement, right? That will cost you over about $3,000. So this gives you a total of over $11,500. But guess what? We have a surprise for you. 2 surprises for you. Are we excited to get that surprise? If you're excited, please just drop a yes in the chat. We have a surprise for you. Just give a yes in the chat. You don't have to pay $11,500 to get this training. Why? Because at the end of the training, or in the course of the training, just like Engineer Clovis has explained to us who a solutions architect is, who a DevOps engineer is, who a security architect is, or a security engineer is, right? In the course of the training, you'll be able to make a decision as to where you feel comfortable to start in. You can't just be everywhere, right? You have to choose a path where you want to grow in, right? So in the course of the training, you'll be able to decipher, to be able to make a decision of where you want to actually place yourself. And the first thing we're telling you is that we are giving you a discount for those who are going to make the payment within the next 7 days. So please, I'm going to display our company WhatsApp contact, all right, or through the email that you receive this invitation. You're going to send, this is for those who are attending this conference live, right? This is only valid for those attending this conference live. So kindly send a message to the WhatsApp contact you find on your screen right here. +237 695 703574. So just drop a message to indicate that you're live on this session. And so you're going to pay just $2,000. All right. Now that's the amount of money you're going to pay, but then you don't have to pay all at once, right? There is a possibility for you to pay instrumentally. So if you can pay 50% of this within the next 7 days, right? And you can pay your fees instrumentally up to 3 installments. So if you can pay 50% of this within the next 7 days, right, you're eligible for this offer. And this offer expires just for those who are actually on this call. So that's the first offer we have for you. So what are we going to be training? You can see our training stack here for AWS and for DevOps, right? And we could have other services. So, but this is just for AWS DevOps, right? Now, the second bonus which we have is that we are going to offer a 1 month free training. What you have had here today is just the tip of an iceberg. So we're going to give you an introduction to what you're going to be experiencing live. So our trainings will take place just 2 to 3 days a week, right? From the onset, Wednesdays to Fridays, right? As from 12 a.m. Cameroon time or West African time to about 3 a.m. West African time, right? Or 7 p.m. Eastern time to 11 p.m. Eastern time, right? Now, this particular free webinar, right, is going to be for 5 days. And we're going to cover great solutions. So you don't want to miss any of these sessions. It's going to be from 9 to 10:30 p.m. Cameroon time, okay, from the 3rd to the 12th of September. We're going to send out the flyer for this. So if you want to be part of this as well, as you indicate to the contact, right, you can want to indicate your interest in taking part in this free webinar, right? So now that's what we have. So the next question probably you could be asking yourself is, now after getting this training, is it just like any other training out there? Can I work from Cameroon? Is it possible? Yeah, I told you I'm here in Cameroon, right? So this is my team. We worked on a migration project, okay, and by the grace of God, I was only Cameroonian on the team. You can see here we had people on the team from India, from US, from Nigeria, from Canada. All right. So right at the comfort of your home, you can actually get a cloud job and you can work remotely, okay, without it affecting other aspects of your life, right? It gives you, more options, and you can just with your laptop, anywhere you find yourself, right? You're always in working mode. All right. So yes, it's possible. If that's the question, yes, it's possible. And the jobs out there are so numerous. The question is, do you have the expertise? Do you have the skill set? All right. So those who have the skill set are exposed to getting the training. So right now, we are going to move over to the question and answer session. So if you do have any questions, I would love that you raise your hands, and we're going to request you to unmute and you can ask your questions. Thank you very much. I hope the offer is well understood. So if you do have any questions, kindly raise your hand so we can take your questions. Thank you. Yes, Elvis, you have the mic, please.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Doctor, for this opportunity, this conversation. I just have some few, or let me say, just a straightforward question that is going to really go deep, and it's just a straightforward question. Yes, your training is actually great, and us that we are out of the country, we have stability of internet where we are. And back home, you did talk about the various possibilities for people that can switch from one network to the other. And we all know that it's still very difficult for us to balance this up. So is there any other way that you can organize this? For example, people back home, they can have this training as in physical, while others that are out of Cameroon can handle this at the remote site? That's question number one. And then regarding your price, it's, for me, I would say it's okay to me. But I am also looking at the people back home. Let's face the fact. People back home, we have nothing, as in nothing, to show off when it comes to sacrificing this much. So if you can steepen a bit for the price for those that are back home, it's really going to help those people back home to enroll in this project. Because for me, if I would really deepen the price for those that are back home, different from those that are abroad. This is going to blend everybody to be on the same platform. So that is question number 2. And then question number 3 goes, once you are giving the training to all of us, I understand that there are so many like courses, not like big courses. There are short courses where we are studying just the applications in order to use within the DevOps platform. So in the course of looking at the various short courses that are into DevOps, I will be talking about Ansible, Terraform, and be it the Python, Kubernetes, and the rest. These are all under DevOps. So how can you manage this in order to see it in such a way that people can also get certifications on this area? Because most of the jobs that we find out, they demand at least half a certification in any of the languages you have learned. This is out of my experience. When you apply for jobs, the first thing that qualifies you for that job is the certification first. Place the certification, and we can ask you the next question. But if you don't have certification to prove forward, it means you are already screened out. So is there any mechanism that you are going to go further in order to help us that are studying for this course in order to get those certifications alongside with us? Those are my questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Elvis. Indeed, you had great questions, and thank you very much. And I do appreciate. It shows that you were really attentive in the session. So yeah, starting with the first question, we have it in view, right? We have it in view to have a physical or on-site training in Solavise Technologies Institute, right? But at the moment, we are more around doing it remotely, right? Yes, but we're going to definitely expand for physical trainings. Secondly, around the pricing, that's a very great question. So we had a tete-a-tete with Kesmo International University, and there is a great offer for those who are in Africa. There's a great offer. And that offer for those who are in Africa is $500 less. So which means those in Africa, they can pay $1,500 thanks to the communication we had at Kesmo International University. All right, so they can pay $1,500, but they can do that in 2 installments. So those who are in Africa, kindly reach out to us, identify, you can pay $1,500. And also this promotion equally applies to them, right? If they can do that within, say, the next 7 days, right, to key in their validity. for the discount. Yeah. Then the third what you have, right? So our current batch, which started in June, they're about to take their first certification. So we are actually holding their hands towards certifications. It's true that certification does not guarantee that you're able to do the job, but certification also gives you an upper hand, right? It gives you an edge. Let's say you have two persons on the field who have the skill set, and a company needs somebody, let's say an extra skill, because normally to get you shortlisted, let's say for an interview, the system has to do some screening, and certification is definitely one of the things that is being screened. So you who has a certification gives an upper hand. So we also guide our students. We don't only say, okay, certification is not important, right? But it's necessary. But it's not the ultimate, it's necessary. So we guide them towards getting the certification. So our current batch is about to take on their certification. So we have a team that actually holds their hand for certifications. Yes. So at least within the first 2 to 3 months of their training, they get their first certification and thereon. Yes. So we actually have that. So I hope I've been able to address your question, sir.
Yes. This is Kizito, co-founder of Solavise. Can I say something, Dr. Samba?
Absolutely, sir.
Yes. Thank you for the great presentation. Thank you for the speakers, Dr. Tanga Desmond and the rest who have presented today. And Elvis, you said something that is quite interesting about the pricing, and Dr. Samba has already answered it, but I just want to throw more light on it, which is that for those in Africa, through the initiative and collaboration of Kesmon University, the price will be $1,500. That's $1,500. Dr. Samba said for those in Africa, yes, but we also want to say for those in the developing countries of the world, because Solavise technology is a worldwide institution, which means that people in other developing countries outside Africa also included in that price reduction. Let's say somebody from the Southern American countries fall in that category. Let's say people in the less developed countries in Asia fall in that category of that price reduction. So we here at Solavise Tech are really, really happy to have you all on board wherever you are in the world. You just need to let us know that you are in one of those developing countries in Africa and in a part of the world, and we will do that price reduction for you. So the world is changing. Times are changing, like Professor Desmond said. Technology is taking over the world, right? So then we want to give you the skills you need to move with the changing times. So we here at Solavise, we want to offer you the opportunity to learn the new skills that technology has to offer. So those who are in Africa, those who are in the developing countries, I want to emphasize on this. We want you to come on board. We want you to learn these new skills. That's why we want to offer that price reduction, so that those who do not have the means can at least try to. So like Dr. Samba said, you have the opportunity to pay in 2 installments. I will talk with him. We can even make it up to 3 and even up to 4 if you come to us and say, look, I've enrolled in this program and I'm having some challenges. Can you give me a little bit of time to make my 3rd installment, right? If you make 2 installments and you're not able to meet up with the $1,500, you can always reach out to us. We are here to help. Right, reach out to Dr. Samba or to myself or to any member of the Solavise team and say, this is my situation. Can you help? And we will look into your situation. I'll be willing to help. Ladies and gentlemen, take advantage of this, especially the 1 month free training that Dr. Samba talked about earlier. All right, for those who are on this call, take advantage of this. You have to have the mindset. You have to have the commitment, the will to do this. And then you have a team that will collaborate with you to make this happen. I started this, I trained AWS in 2020 I'm based in the United States of America, And when the pandemic hit, some of us decided, because it affected our jobs, right? Some of us decided to get involved in this AWS training. And we have seen so many changes in our lives. Please take advantage of this. Be encouraged. Thank you both.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kizito. Thank you for shedding more light. And indeed, it's a great opportunity for those, especially those who are in Africa right now, who are exposed to this. Thank you very much. So do we have any other questions, please? Do we have any other questions? If you do have a question, kindly indicate. Yes, please. Eric, you have the mic.
Okay. Thanks everyone who is on the call. Thanks for the presenters. It's been so wonderful for the past a few hours, getting to hours. I've so much been enjoying it. But maybe I would like to ask my question, maybe on behalf of the other people, right? Because some may be shy, some may be, they will not want that we should hear their voices. They want to come inbox anyhow they want it. But I'm here to ask you a question. Whatever you're thinking, I will ask it here so that you get your answer, right? So now we've been listening to all the presenters talking, and they've spoken so much about technology and about cloud computing. At the end of the day, when you are trained and you're working, right, you are going to pay this amount of money. What are you going to take back home? What are you going to put on the table? What are you going to use to get food on the table for your family, for yourself, right? What do you expect to get at the end when you get a job? Are you going to work for a charity organization or what? I want that Prof. Dr. Samba to answer me this question on behalf of the other people, right? So that's the worry I wanted to bring on board. Thank you.
Okay. All right, everyone. This is Engineer Eric, part of the team, all the way from Ghana. So we have a couple of persons here from Ghana. So he's actually on the team from Ghana, and he's doing a great job for Solavise. So definitely that question is around what is the income, right? The earning. Now, if you're just on your screen, you can just kindly check out the average salary of a cloud engineer. Let me just call Engineer Clovis. Engineer Clovis, are you there, please? Do you have Engineer Clovis on the call? All right. So, okay, let me not say the figures and then it looks scary, right? All right. So let me share my screen 1 second so that it doesn't look scary, right? But then all these jobs, these cloud computing jobs are all six-figure jobs, right? They are all six-figure jobs, 6 figures in US dollars, irrespective of where you are located. So right now, let me share my screen so that you can have this. Okay, great. So let's just have this, right? Average salary of a cloud engineer in US dollars, right? So you can see here on Google, right? The average salary of a cloud engineer in US dollars. You see here, it says $122,886 US dollars, right? That's the average salary of a cloud engineer. You can check on the average salary of a DevOps engineer, right? Right. So the average salary of a DevOps engineer, right? You see, you can have up to 130,000 US dollars. So it ranges from 110 to 165,000 US dollars, right? And so you can get the conversion in local currency. You can probably do that, say in francs CFA, or say in Cameroon, for example, there are companies that are willing to pay you really high, right? That are willing to pay you really, really high. Okay, so that's it. So I hope I was able to answer your question, Eric, and it helps those who equally had a similar question.
Yes, Prof, you did justice to the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so we equally have you have the mic, please.
Hi, everyone. I just wish to find out about the person that does not really want training but just need a certification. Maybe you've gotten a training, but you just need the certifications now. Maybe Kubernetes, cloud architect, and all that. How do you go about that? Do you provide the services too?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So at the moment, like I said, our training is not focused just towards the certifications, right? So we don't have a purely certification-based training. So we are taking our students through the entire journey and they get certified as we move along. So we don't have a team just dedicated to handling you for certification alone, right? So we don't offer that specific service, but as we take our students along the journey, right, we are able to equip them towards getting the certification. Thank you. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes, please. So we have Engineer Noah. We are so blessed to have Engineer Noah with us all the way from USA. He's a cloud DevOps engineer, a great person, and we have him here. Please, you have the mic, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dr. Samba, Dr. Kisito, and every other folks that have spoken. Whenever I'm on the speaker, I get nervous. So don't mind me right now. So I would say this to the last person who asked that question of certification. I am a DevOps engineer professional, and through my journey of trying to write these exams, I would always contact Dr. Samba. It could be 1 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't even considering the time difference between the United States and Cameroon. I would call him at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, ask him different questions. What I'm trying to say in essence is he guides me towards achieving that certification. I'm certified in DevOps, Solution Architect, even Microsoft Azure. So that question is actually answered because you have him right there to guide you through. This man you are seeing on the screen, very super intelligent. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. So another thing I would like to say here is, when I was first introduced to cloud computing, I had my doubts. What is this thing? Why do I have to spend extra 6 months to learn this thing? But today, I'm very happy I did. I'm very happy I made that choice. And I will also say this, even though Dr. Samba may not like me to say this, about 2 months ago, a company who is affiliated to Microsoft contacted Dr. Samba. Hey, I need some people. I need some engineers. I need some architects. Please. Dr. Samba contacted me and 16 other people. And guess what? Today, the 17 of us.
36.
36. Today, all of us are in the process of working now directly with Microsoft. So what I would say here is, you are in good hand. I didn't even know I'm going to be speaking today. I didn't plan on doing that today, but as a father, as a man who, of course, have a lot of responsibilities, I am very happy I made this choice I made. And I would implore everyone to strive. It takes 6 months, it takes between 6 and 7, whatever months. It depends on how hard you want it. It works. It works. Oh, it works. It's working. It will continue working. Cloud computing is the future. The earlier you adopt it, the better. You know, like I said, I get nervous when I'm gonna put on a speaker like this. I'm gonna have to stop talking now. Okay, all right, doctor. Bye now.
Thank you very much, Noah. Thank you. Thank you.
I call him the captain. Thank you, captain.
Yes, just to let you guys know, he's a retired US captain, now transition into tech, right, into cloud computing. Thank you very much, Noah, for showing up. All right, so I was just notified that Professor Atanga still has something very, very important for you. So, Prof, if you can hear me, you have the mic, please, sir.
All right. Thank you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, I salute you. I've listened to a couple of questions. I also want to thank my friend, the engineer who did the presentation. I would like us to understand something about training, and we have had this question over the years. People always ask, am I going to get a job after spending this money? And it is because of the background that we have. I think 80% of us participating in this, we are Africans. And we already come from systems where we have to go to school, come out and look for a job after spending money. So we already have some genes in us that codes for such thoughts. But with advancement in technology and the changes in time, you need to understand that this kind of professional training is called a skill-based training. It is not a paper-based training. It is skill-based. Once you get skills, there is just no way you are unemployable. And with skills that you have, you don't stress much to seek something to do. You can create already within your own community, within your own environment, a system that will be paying you in. You can even join the same school where you were trained to become a trainer. There are a lot of things you can do. Don't be limited to the amount. When we look at the amount of money that you spend in learning this program, that will be less than the first payment you will receive if you get hired. So you can imagine, and the wage will continue. It's not like after 6 months, you need to go back to school and pay again and start all over. So please, let's look at these aspects. And whatever we learn at Solavise Tech, with the kind of partnership that they have with us, we entrepreneurialize everything we do. Apart from the skills in the tech, we have to also put into your mind the business skill of it. How to become a business person with the skill you have. So you no longer just be a job seeker, but you can create also an enterprise. You become a problem solver in the society. That is the kind of training we are looking forward to you. And at the same time, during your training, we have a package for you that permits you to get what we call industrial placement, so that you are sharpening your skills while you are in school. You're not just learning in the evening, in the night hours, but we put you in systems where you're practicing what you're learning. So within those skills, 6 months, it's not a course you're learning. It's a skill you're learning to graduate with. So you're only liberated when you're able to do. We don't send doctors to the field when they cannot treat patients. So by the time we finish the training and we are liberating you, believe us, you are ripe. Thank you very much, doctor.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you so much. Okay, so as we move towards the end of this training, I really want to appreciate you all. I see we still have Engineer Noah as well as Engineer Sensini, who would like to step in. So let's have Sensini for the feedback, and then we're going to end with Noah as we wrap up the session. Thank you very much. Sensini, you have the mic.
Okay, Doc. Thank you so very much for the opportunity, and a huge thanks to everyone that's made it so far on the meeting towards the end. You might view it as something small. It's just 2 hours, but these are the very 2 hours that you might be required to put in when needed as you train. So it's not easy to stay attentive for this long. And a huge shout out to Engineer Noah. I appreciate him so much. He's someone that has been an inspiration to me. And everyone here. And I've while the meeting was going on, I've had to answer a couple of questions on the chat, which some people have thrown. And I just want to reiterate around it. With regards to certifications, someone asked if it's possible to get expert certification without going through the step-by-step process. I don't know if that question was asked correctly or if I answered it correctly, but one thing you need to have in mind is that I would like to answer it by sharing my personal experience. So before getting into a community-based learning platform for cloud computing, I approached a personal-based one from courses online. And you're going to miss a lot, because if there's one thing that is certain about this cloud computing and IT field, is that there's a 70%, there's an 80% chance that your way out is through your network, not what you know. You might go out there, you pick up a course, you crash it, you have all the theory, but you've not had enough training. You've not dirty, your hands are not that dirty enough to be able to do the stuff. And you don't have a network because you studied all on your own. You don't have a network at all. So like Engineer Noah earlier said, he got on an Azure project because he belonged to a community. He knew someone, he knew a doctor, and doctor knew his capabilities. So when that opportunity came in, he was able to be part of it. And that is why we encourage this approach of learning at Solavise Tech. That is why we encourage it. It's not just the knowledge we're giving you access to a huge network. You might come in as students, but tomorrow we end up being colleagues. I have colleagues that are old enough to be my parents. So that is the opportunity, not just the money you pay or the salary, but the network. Can you call this person and say, hey, I need this? I mean, high profile persons. So in as much as you may be tempted to like want to get a course online, and another thing, you might want to get a course online and just crash it and do stuff like that, but that's not distilled. That's a very broad area of knowledge, but we're here to give you something that is distilled. This is it. Once you get this, you leverage from your network, and that's it. So that's just what I wanted to say. Certifications are important, yes, but have a network. And that's what I believe is one of the key things we're offering you, the network. So that's all I have to say for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Inge Sensini. And just to let you guys know that Sensini is a certified AWS solutions architect professional. So he knows what he's talking about, right? And he's on the team for Solavise Tech, taking you, step by step on the training. Thank you very much, Sensini. Yes, so we have a question in the chat from Luis. Now, the course itself, as far as time is concerned, like I said, the training is flexible. 2 to 3 hours, 3 days a week, right? 2 to 3 hours, 3 days a week. And if you're not able to attend a live training, which we encourage that you should attend live training, because during a live trainings, right, you'll be able to come across challenges where you're not able to build the solutions we're trying to build at some point in time. And what really makes you good, what really makes you strong is when you're able to troubleshoot problems, not just when you have success all the time. So during the live sessions, you're able to make errors, and you're also going to learn from the errors of others. But if your schedule does not permit that you are able to attend some specific live sessions, then we have a learning management system that we upload all the recordings of sessions that you can be able to follow at the time when you're actually available, right? So, like I said, 2 to 3 times a week, Wednesdays to Fridays, and as the program unfolds, we're going to introduce some workshops on Saturdays and all of that, right? So it's really flexible, so you can do it at your comfort, right? Thank you. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Yes, I think we still have Noah. You have the mic, please, as we wrap up in the next 2 minutes. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Doc. I believe it was Prof. Atanga that spoke before Engineer Sensini. Thank you for that statement, because what we're doing here is we're acquiring a skill set that will take you a long way, will take you far, far away. When you are acquiring this skill set, it's like you're buying a shoe. The shoes you buy is not only going to take you to wedding or birthday or airport. That shoe can take you wherever you want to go. So when you acquire the skill set here, getting a job is just right there. Like I told you earlier in my statement, maybe I didn't say it clearly. A company, Microsoft, contacted Dr. Samba. Listen, I need some engineers. Give me some engineers. He used his own network to get me a job, to get a whole lot of us a job. Now, if he can get this network, imagine how much network in stock for him, for all of us. I would advise everyone to take this seriously. It will bring a lot to your table. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much, Engineer, for icing the cake. So at this point in time, as we wrap up, I would plead that we all come on camera. We're going to take a souvenir screenshot, right? The goal is just to immortalize what we've done, right? Let's immortalize what we've done. So it will be a pleasure for us to have you on camera as we have this session, please. So kindly come on camera for the next few seconds so that we are able to have a screenshot. So please turn on your cameras and you're going to give us a very broad smile. Turn on your camera, please, please, please. Great, great, great. We have Engineer Nimbroko on the call. If it's possible, all the way from the US, we would love to have your camera on. We have Malice, if you're in a position to be on camera, kindly come on camera, please. Modesta, all the way from UAE. Nuruddin, if you can come on camera, we'll be very grateful. All right, so 1 second. Let's do this. Okay, right here. Okay. Okay, so at the count of 3, we're going to have a shot. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to take it right now. All right. So we're going to take another screenshot of another angle. Please, you want to be on this. It's going to go viral. And someday you're going to testify that you were on this live session. You started your journey by just attending a live session remotely, right? Myself, I started by just a phone call from my cousin. All right, so let's go again. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. All right, so do have a wonderful night, and you're going to be receiving mails and updates with regards to the free sessions that we have. All right, thank you very much, and goodbye to everyone. You cannot unmute yourself and wish everyone a good night. Or goodbye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night, guys.
Hey, Kisito, I'm going to call you now.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night, everyone.
Okay, Captain.
Good night, everyone.
Engineer Eric, I'll be coming for you.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, Peter, nice to have you.
Thank you. I'll be coming for you.
But sure. I'm
Bye-bye.
waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. Sure, man. Sure.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you.